And let's viewing.
Okay, straight to English. Your right choice.
Let's begin.
Hello, drivers. Welcome back. Owning a car is freedom until it breaks down. Then it becomes a nightmare. That terrifying feeling when you're cruising along and suddenly your car decides to make a noise that sounds less like a healthy engine and more like an ATM just spitting out shredded money. You have to pull over immediately. That sudden dread, it goes right to your wallet.
Dread is unproductive. As always, the greatest barrier to fixing anything efficiently is, well, it's panic and the resulting lack of clear communication. When your vehicle starts sounding like a malfunctioning cartoon, you can't just tell the mechanic, vroom, vroom, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, right.
Our mission today is elegant and simple. We are giving you the precise, technical vocabulary you need to talk to a mechanic. It'll save you time, frustration, and definitely money. We're going to follow the story of a driver, a guy named Mark, who learned the hard way how critical precise language is when he met his mechanic, Big Joe. Right, we need to master these concepts, like the difference between a squeal and a grind, and why using the right words for parts under the hood is, not something you can just skip. So Mark walked in, and he was just broadcasting anxiety, wasn't he? Telling Joe, I'm not sure what the problem is, but I'm afraid to drive it. It puts him on the defensive right away.
It does. And Joe, being the calm expert, needed specifics. Specificity is the currency of mechanics. Big Joe knows that the first step to any diagnosis is gathering clear, specific information. He asked Mark to describe the noise and, critically, when it happened.
And Mark's first description was a loud, high-pitched squealing sound when the engine started. He used the perfect comparison. He said, like a screaming cat.
A screaming cat. That's certainly memorable.
I thought so.
And mechanically speaking, a high-pitched squeal when starting is often less catastrophic than it sounds at first.
Wait, really? I thought a squeal was always bad. If he said the sound stopped after a few minutes, why bother fixing it right away? Can't that wait?
That is a common but dangerous misconception. Mark noted the sound stopped after the engine warmed up. That is classic behavior for a loose or old rubber belt, like the fan belt or the serpentine belt.
Oh, okay.
It's rubber, and when it's cold, it slips. As it warms up, it gets a bit stickier, it grips better, and the sound just disappears. But here's the critical part for you to understand. While a loose belt is a relatively easy fix, if that belt fails completely,
then what?
You lose essential functions. We're talking about a loss of power steering, your battery stops charging, and the water pump could fail.
So you're stranded.
You're stranded. It goes from an irritating noise to a crisis. So it's a high-priority preventive fix.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. It's about preventing the big failure. But then Mark dropped the second sound bomb on him, a terrible grinding noise when he stepped on the brakes.
And that, dear listener, is where the stakes elevate dramatically. Grinding is an immediate distress signal. It is the sound of metal rubbing directly against metal. It's harsh, it's scraping.
Grinding sounds infinitely more serious than a squeal. What exactly is hitting what in that situation?
In the context of braking, that sound usually means the brake pads are entirely consumed. They're just finished. The friction material is gone. And the metal backing of the brake caliper is scraping directly against the rotor.
The rotor is that shiny metal disc, right?
Exactly. The disc the pad is supposed to clamp down on. This means your ability to stop is seriously compromised. It is a very, very bad sound. High anxiety, and it needs urgent attention.
Okay, let's unpack this more for everyone listening. To build that essential toolkit, if you want the quickest shortcut to sounding knowledgeable at the garage, it's mastering these 4 critical sounds.
Precisely. We've established the high-pitched squeal or squeak. That's a screech that usually indicates a loose rubber belt or maybe some light brake pad wear. Remember, a squeal is often scary, usually a lower priority in terms of getting you stranded immediately.
And then there is grinding, that harsh, scraping, metal-on-metal sound. This is like a 5-alarm fire. It means you need to stop right now. It could be finished brake pads or something really bad inside the earbox. High anxiety, high priority.
Now we move to the heavier sounds. The third sound is clunking or thumping.
The dull, heavy thud. I usually hear that when I hit a bump or a pothole, and it sounds like something huge just fell off the bottom of my car.
Exactly. That dull, heavy thud suggests a serious problem with the suspension system. This isn't just a rattle. This is usually structural. We're talking about components like worn-out control arm bushings, broken strut mounts, or failed ball joints.
Wow.
If you hear this over bumps, it signals instability. Your car's handling is compromised, and it needs a prompt assessment.
That's a great explanation. Giving us the actual parts really helps. So what's the last one? The quietest, but maybe the sneakiest.
The fourth sound is hissing,
The snake sound.
the snake sound. While it's simple, this noise almost universally signals that something pressurized is escaping where it shouldn't be. If you hear that hiss and you smell something sweet, almost like maple syrup,
Oh, that's bad.
that's very bad. If you have a radiator or a hose leak, you're losing coolant. You could be minutes away from total engine failure from overheating. If it's just air, it could be a slow puncture in a tire. Either way, it means stop and inspect. Now.
So our guy Mark, he was juggling, squealing, grinding, feeling shaky. He was in quite the mechanical predicament.
It's precisely a predicament.
And predicament, that's like a really difficult situation, right? Where you don't have an easy way out.
Exactly, a difficult situation where the problems just stack up. Mark's issues were spiraling, so armed with Mark's precise description of everything, Big Joe knew exactly what to do next. He just said to Mark, "Pop the hood."
And that is such a key phrase, pop
Yeah.
the hood. It's the standard informal way to ask someone to open the engine compartment.
When Joe got a look under the hood, Mark's descriptions were confirmed. The belt was completely cracked, which caused that initial squealing. But here's where it got really interesting. The coolant level was critically low.
Ah. So that low coolant explains the shaky feeling Mark described at stoplights. The engine was probably running hot, causing those vibrations, even if Mark didn't use the word overheating.
Exactly. And all that mechanical stress was tied to the final source of Mark's anxiety, the check engine light that came on.
Okay, since we're focused on communication, let's define the parts we see most. That panel with the speedometer and all those warning lights, that's the dashboard.
Correct. And knowing those lights is key. We know the yellow engine icon means check engine. It's an alert that needs attention soon. But you have to prioritize the red icons. The red oil can means low oil pressure. That's a major danger.
Stop immediately.
Immediately. And the red icon with the plus and minus sign warns of a battery or charging system failure. If a red light comes on, the rule is simple. Pull over safely and turn the engine off.
Speaking of universal words, we should probably clarify the US versus UK terms here. It's so easy to get mixed up.
An excellent point for our global listeners.
Yeah.
Here in the US, we say hood for the engine cover and trunk for the storage in the back.
Right.
If you're speaking with someone from the UK, they will call those the bonnet and the boot. Knowing that simple difference can prevent a lot of confusion.
So once the diagnosis was done, Big Joe got to the bottom line. And this leads to maybe the most important word for protecting your wallet in this whole process, the estimate.
The estimate is your control mechanism. It is a detailed written document saying what repairs are proposed, what the parts cost, and the labor involved. It's not the final bill, but it's the maximum price the repair might cost.
So if Mark had not asked for one, what's the risk there?
The risk is a phenomenon called repair creep. Joe finds the first problem, starts working, then finds another issue, fixes that, and suddenly Mark returns to a huge, unexplained bill he never approved.
That's the nightmare part.
That is. The advice is non-negotiable. Always demand a detailed, written estimate before you authorize any work.
So Joe agreed to replace the cracked belt and the brake pads right away, but he said running the diagnostic for the check engine light would take more time.
Yes, and that's a good lesson. Sometimes the diagnosis, which involves computer analysis, is a separate item from the physical repair.
Right. And let's be real, mechanics speak fast. That phrase, pop the hood, can become one quick word like pop the hood.
It does. And I'll give you an estimate becomes I'll give you an estimate. The speed is real. Understanding the key words helps you keep pace.
Having this vocabulary is just. It's essential for confidence and safety. If you appreciate learning practical things like this efficiently, and you want more deep dives that translate these kinds of high-stakes situations into clear communication.
Then you should absolutely subscribe to Straight to English. Before we wrap up, let's just quickly consolidate the few critical phrases from Mark's story that you really need to remember.
These are your 3 magic phrases. Number 1, it makes a squealing grinding sound when I start-stop.
Number 2, the check engine light came on. And then just briefly say where you were or what you were doing when it happened.
And number 3, the one that protects your bank account. Can you give me a written estimate before starting any work?
Fantastic. Now for our final provocative thought. The source material mentioned a final question from the teacher. Can you change a tire by yourself?
Oh, I can tell you exactly what happened when I tried. I was on the side of a busy highway. I had the wrench, but I could not get the lug nuts to loosen. Not at all. I felt completely unprepared, vulnerable, and honestly a little embarrassed having to call for help. I just didn't have the right tool or maybe the right strength.
That feeling of sudden helplessness is a perfect final metaphor. Just like changing a tire requires specific physical tools, a jack, a lug wrench, dealing with complex car problems requires specific language. Knowing the vocabulary of the squeal, the grind, the dashboard lights, and the estimate, that is your essential toolkit for navigating the garage without stress or unexpected bills.
Master these terms, drive safe, and if you value learning new practical things quickly and thoroughly, make sure you subscribe to Straight to English today. See you on the road.